My goal today is to capture some of the lessons we've learned from Walt and from our years of experience with high-performing organizations. But one word of caution: you need to innovate. You can't just imitate. You can use the dream, believe, dare, do principles as a starting point, as a foundation. But you need to define a culture that's right for your organization, then work at making it happen. There's no instant pudding. It's hard work. It all starts with a dream. I'd like to conclude with an example that pulls the dream, believe, dare, do principles together. In 1955, shortly before Disneyland was to open, there was a little boy that was about 10 or 12 years old, and he worked in the mailroom. And whenever there was a special delivery package or letter for Walt Disney, he'd make it his job to deliver it. And one day he barges into the boardroom, interrupts a meeting, and says, "I have a confession to make. I don't want to work in the mailroom. I want to be Tom Sawyer, and you're casting for the role of Tom Sawyer on Tom Sawyer's Island tomorrow, and I wish you'd consider me." And Walt Disney looks at the little boy. He looks at his vice president of casting. He said, "You know, the little boy has red hair and freckles. He looks a little bit like Tom Sawyer. What do you think?" And the vice president of casting, taking the signal from his leader, says, "Looks good to me." So they hire the little boy as Tom Sawyer. Park's open for a couple days. The vice president of casting comes into Disney's office, interrupts a meeting, and says, "You know that Tom Sawyer you hired? We have to fire him." And Disney says, "Well, why? What has he done?" And the vice president explained. He says, "Walt, that little boy has literally become Tom Sawyer." And Walt said, "What's wrong with that? Isn't that why we hired him?" And the vice president said, "Walt, remember the story about Tom Sawyer? He's got to prove to all the little kids around that he's the toughest one. He's picking a fight with all your guests as they come on to the island. This kid's a little bully. We got to get rid of him." And Disney got upset and told everyone to leave his office except the vice president of casting, closed his doors, and said, "You don't understand what we're trying to do here." And the vice president said, "No, apparently not." And Walt said, "That little boy is being the best Tom Sawyer he knows how to be. It's our job to make him the best Tom Sawyer for Disney. Now go out and do your job." That story was lost for over 30 years and was told at that little red-headed boy's 30-year recognition dinner by the vice president who came out of retirement to honor his 30 years of service. How close they came to losing a valued employee of over 30 years when it seemed so easy but yet so hard. All we have to do is train the daylights out of our people, let them know what's expected of them, give them the tools to succeed, then get out of their way and let them become the best Tom Sawyer, nurse, engineer, receptionist that they know how to be. Make your dreams come true. Believe in yourself, believe in your team members, dare to make a difference, and then just do it.